You're on.
Steve, it's impossible this morning reading newspaper. There's GSP controversy. There's the Habs losing. There's always the talk about the Mayor Ford of Toronto. But yet nobody talks about Milan winning against Young Boys yesterday. To me, international news, right? We actually won a game, but that's Canadian newspapers for you.
I guess that's what happens, your mayor has problems with his staff and he has enough to eat at home. And your team can't score goals and GSP, well, that's what happens in Vegas.
There we go. Cari amici sportivi, welcome to yet another edition of Red Card Weekly, where we mostly speak about the Serie A, sometimes some international, sometimes some European. And yes, we're not professionals, nor do we pretend to be. I'd like to introduce firstly to my left, actually my right, well Vince, good for me, Steve. On Sundays I like to go to the local bars and keep thinking that I can beat Quags on Dancing with the Stars. Polillo? Look at those moves. Look at those moves. And I am Vince. L'Italia avete momenti veramente belli e continui ci faccio sognare il signor Prandelli, Tavernese. You got the dance moves over there, Steve. Welcome. Steve, where we're going to start off? Obviously, we're going to start off. We got Signor Prandelli here with us. So why don't we take it to Friday's game? Italy versus Germany. Mamma mia, che bella partita. It didn't seem like a friendly, right?
No. And historically, as we've seen throughout the years, every time Italy and Germany play in any type of match, it's always a very high-paced, entertaining game. The rivalry is there, obviously, and the rivalry is there because Germany fails to beat Italy when it counts.
Yeah, true.
Now, this friendly, of course, is in the international break, of course, making the players play more than they're actually supposed to, but that's obviously something that we do not agree with. If we concentrate on the game, I think the game was a very exciting game. There was a lot of chances, both sides actually developed the play well. On the Italy side, I'd just like to mention, because he deserves this so much, the return to the nationality of Criscito.
Yeah, definitely. It was very nice to see him, and you know what? Even though anybody better than Maggio right now, but Criscito played. He wasn't the 40 class, but he's solid. He had made a few bad games back in the day, and I think we all agree, Steve, that he got robbed of a place back in the Euro 2012.
Totally agree.
And it's nice. This is nice to see him back with the Nazionale. Now let's see where he's going to fit in, or Prandelli, because I like this whole having all these different types of players, maybe different type of formations for Italy, because we're still in a transition kind of mode. Yes, we like what we see compared, let's say, from 2010 to now, but we still have a couple of points to me that we need to work on, mainly for me, a bit more on the defensive. But I still liked what I saw from the team, actually, against Germany. And I think here, this picture here, Steve, really demonstrates, and we spoke to each other after this, because you know what we both saw, the team being together and going for having each other's backs. Okay,
come on, let's be honest with you there. There was dirty fouls on both sides, and that's basically what we like to see from, even if it's a friendly. Yes, we like to see that both teams are fully committed to the game, and it's good for the crowd, it's good for the game. That's what you saw. This here is really something that it's something that really made me happy, because Thiago Motta is not someone who's a titular in the team where he's always there, always playing. He does suffer some injury. He had a good game also.
Yes, he did.
He had a good game also. Just a notable mention to him, and it showed that the team is together. Not only did, of course, Mario Balotelli loves to be in the middle of all this action, but you saw players like Montolivo understood what happened. The game wasn't right.
Marquinhos was there in the middle.
There. If the play was going to continue, it looked like Buffon was going to get in there too.
And what I like to see too is Mario seemed to, yes, you know what, he got fouled a lot. He didn't get a lot of the calls, but he tried to stay away from the whole problems. He wasn't being Mario-like. And when this happened, you saw it. He was up striking. He came running because he knows, what, they were trying to get at us. And yes, we're both at fault, Italy and Germany. But what a game! Seriously, what a game! We really enjoyed it. We'll see where this will bring. I'll get well soon to Khedira. His knee ligament. They're saying he should be back. He got off.
But that was a problem, because before they actually got hurt, there was a foul where he should have came out of the game. If I'm Ancelotti, I'm pissed off at Lowe, the coach of Germany, because Khedira, after that first foul where you saw he was not right, he had to come out of the game. He had to come out of the game, and he did not. And that's a major problem, especially it drives the domestic coaches crazy because they release their players to FIFA by force. And they're playing in these friendlies where they have a chance to get hurt, and they could have saved major, we don't know if it's major damage, but
especially if it's a friendly, even though we know it's Italy, Germany. By the way, if you guys have a chance, Sfida on Rai.tv had a great documentary, Italia Germania I precedenti, going from a 1970 game to a fantastic documentary. It's about an hour long, and they got a couple of them, so you guys check it out. It's really, really well. One player that I wasn't impressed with, and I don't know where he's gone, is Signore Zorro, Johnny Depp, Osvaldo. Now, if you had to caption this picture here, Steve, what would you caption this at?
It's Mario Balotelli laughing at Osvaldo because he's not going to be playing in Brazil.
Yeah, probably. But no, honestly, I don't think, going from these different formations, with the two strikers, let's be honest, guys, if Giuseppe Rossi was up fit, which he will be next week, it would have been Giuseppe Rossi and Balotelli, and that's one tandem duo that I want to see them play so badly, and having Pirlo feed them from the midfield.
In a game where it was hard fought, there was a lot of play. Osvaldo didn't do terrible in the game.
No.
But he tarnished, again, a bad boy reputation where he took offense to being subbed off in a friendly against Germany. Hey, you're Pablo Osvaldo. No one cares about you, Osvaldo, because if you don't make the national team, no one will care, because there's a lot of people that could replace you. And if we're going to take a bad boy to Brazil, I'd rather take Cassano, I'd rather take Totti, I'd rather even go back and take Gianni Riviera, or bless his soul, Sergio Canale.
I like it. All right, so that's our segment, and we are playing on London on Tuesday against Nigeria. Yeah. And that should be a nice one because African football is kind of different type of playing, and we're not playing to all respect to all the African nations. We're playing a powerhouse. So let's see what we do from.
This is going to be a great opportunity for Prandelli to evaluate other people. So let's see.
Let's take it over to
the domestic game.
The domestic game, the new era of Inter, with Mr. Eric Thohir, and they had a little press conference. There was the friendly game against Chiasso at Appiano Gentile. He was there with the fans, about 5,000 of them. And what happens? They lose 1-0 in the 89th minute. Yes, okay, they had
that's okay.
But I like because Zambrotta is part of that team. He's the player against the Nostro Nero and does it so.
It's okay. But the major point is finally the soap opera that is the Inter ownership is over. I would like to thank Moratti for all the years of selling absolutely ridiculous players and buying absolutely the crappiest players. All jokes aside, great presidency-ship. He passed it over to Thohir. Now let's see what Thohir does for the Nerazzurri, but we are always Milan. Let me remind you of that.
There we go. And a little side note, that's an actual fact that they were comparing money spent from the three big teams, Juve, Milan, and Inter. Berlusconi spent about 600 million in the last 26-27 years. Agnelli.
Is that just soccer related, or are we?
That's just soccer related.
Oh, okay.
You had Agnelli that spent close to about 800, and Moratti in his 17 years, $1.1 billion. But you know what? They did 5 Scudettis in a row. Sorry, I had something there in my throat. And he did win a tripletta, so I think that was money well spent for him. But we'll see. He's still keeping on to the team.
He's an honorary member of the board,
yeah.
So he'll keep that position there. Will not be involved in any of the things because it looks like Inter have quite a personality on their hands with Eric Thohir.
Now, a new plan of a new stadium. I think that's more feasible than doing. I don't think maybe the next couple of years, but I think that's his priority number one. Bringing Inter back to the Champions League, another priority. Yes, there was the old joking around of getting Messi at Inter, and he's trying to be comical about it. But in the end, I don't know if he was. I don't know if he's maybe not well in his head to think that he can actually go get Messi. Anyways, we don't know. But to Inter, I think this is the right direction and path for them, and we'll see what happens with this team and this direction. How much money he's going to be putting into the to the team. But I know that this is one of your favorite captions here, Steve. You had
Yes, this is what Inter has a little bit of a problem on their hand. If Thohir's favorite player is Ventola, if Thohir has actually watched Serie A for the past couple of years, he will know that Ventola is probably not a big factor in the game anymore. And to be very honest, he was never a big factor even when he was in the game. So Thohir, my advice to you from North America would be, it would be a good idea to leave the scouting for Inter in the coming years to people who actually follow the game.
Yeah, there we go. But I still think, even though we're always going to make fun of him as Milanist, he's right. I think this is definitely a bright light for Inter for the upcoming years.
And I think that this move here by Inter will start a revolution in Serie A, where unfortunately with the economic crisis in Europe and in Italy especially, you'll see a lot more foreign ownership.
Definitely. Let's take it over to, there's been a lot of talks this last couple of days about Pirlo and contract signing. Pirlo not giving much, and now the offer would be another 2 years for $4 million a year. Guys, I don't think money is a factor here in Pirlo.
No, and it never was.
It never was. And you know what? Throughout his book, you'll see that Pirlo is all about Pirlo. He's not about, even though we believe that he was all about the Rossoneri, even though maybe the Juventinis right now, they think he's all about the Bianconero. Pirlo is about Pirlo, and you know what? That's Pirlo the man. Pirlo, giocatore di calcio, always number one. But here's the question, guys. He's thinking about EPL, they're thinking about the Spanish league. I see him more in the Spanish league than the EPL, because I don't know if the EPL is a bit more, more of aggressive.
I'll tell you here, if Pirlo goes to the EPL, not that the EPL is fantastic in terms of the quality of soccer, it's just that in the EPL they concentrate more on the athlete and not the technical ability of a player. I think he will be exposed in the EPL, and I'm pretty sure that's not the move that he's looking for if he leaves Juve. It looks like Pirlo needs to be and needs to feel that he's an important part of the team.
Yeah.
Obviously, Don Allegri decided that he was not going to be an important part of Milan, thus giving him to Juventus, thus giving them 2 Scudettos for absolutely no reason. I think I'll give them credit that the Juventini will not make that same mistake, because they will not make him go to another team in Serie A, that's for sure, unless it's someone that will not compete with them for a Scudetto. And if they sell them away, that's probably the only solution. But I think the 2-year contract is the best for Juve and for Pirlo to make a transition.
I think Pirlo is going to go out of Juventus because he's right now, he's going to be 34 soon, and this is just, I'm like, if he stays another 2 years, if he stays 2 years because he believes he could win maybe another Champions League with Juventus, but I truly believe he's maybe going to go back to Ancelotti, like back in the day when they had the opportunity to meet him there at Chelsea. So we'll see what develops from there. But right now, actually, I don't know if you noticed, I actually saw him sprint for about 1.7 seconds during the Italy game. You see, that's all dedication.
Yeah,
that's all about dedication. Right now, next we're going to go to the a great game that we saw on Friday. And let me ask you, Steve. What's your choice? I'm not talking about what's best for the game. Who do you want to see at the World Cup?
Myself, I want to see Cristiano Ronaldo. As much as it hurts me, I love Zlatan Ibrahimovic. I think that World Cup, without Portugal, unfortunately, it's not only Portugal, let's face it. It's not Portugal that we're going to be missing from there, it's Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah.
We want to see him on the biggest stage. We've seen him on the biggest stage. We've seen him decide not to take a penalty shot on the biggest stage. We're going to remind him of that. But look, my personal opinion on Cristiano Ronaldo is that he's a fantastic athlete of the game. He is a superior physical specimen. He is fast as lightning. He is strong. Maybe his soccer sense is not the best in the world, but you want this player at the World Cup. It's very important. Zlatan is just a freak of nature, on the other hand. Unfortunately, of the 2 teams, the quality of Portugal is slightly better than that of Sweden. And you see Zlatan. If he's not going to generate his own chances, there's not a lot of service there to get him those balls where he could be dangerous.
I think the game plan during the game was mostly to defend because you saw like it was a very tight game. Zlatan didn't have a lot of opportunities.
There's a lot of money on the line here. There's a lot of money on the line for both. It makes the players a lot of money to go to the World Cup. So I can understand them being tense.
Yeah.
But if you are Sweden, you had to take your chance and you had to go after Portugal. I think there's enough weaknesses in Portugal that even a slightly less tactical team like Sweden could have exposed on Portugal.
I am a Zlatan fan. I'm going to go with Ibra. Even though I agree with exactly what you said about Cristiano Ronaldo, but I just like Zlatan.
Of course, yeah.
Of course, I agree, but I do definitely like Zlatan, and I like Sweden's chances passing over Portugal. I don't. That's my personal opinion. That's it.
But that wasn't the biggest news.
No, what was the biggest news?
The biggest news was the Rooster has some serious problems. Wow. Have I not seen a more dysfunctional team than France in a long time?
But you got great players on this team, and I couldn't understand what was going on. Okay, Ukraine, kudos to them. You know, they believed the whole game. The only thing that I think might bite them back in the rear end is the Ukraine in the last couple of minutes. They were 3-on-1.
Yep.
Every possible way he could have passed, would have been probably a sure goal. And he just passed it really short, they got back, and now, because out of 3-0, Steve, you know what, I'm not saying it's impossible, you go back at home, you gotta score 3 goals. Now, 2-0, it's feasible, but if they play the way they played on Friday, score the deal, forget about it.
That was a disorganized France. Deschamps is not sleeping till next week, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how he's gonna get this team out of there. And he has impressive players. He has Frank Ribéry on that team. He has Nasri on that team. He has Pogba on that team. He has an informed Olivier Giroud who got no service whatsoever.
No.
There has to be. There's too many. There's not enough grinta on the team. That's the problem with France. And if France, the way they lost that game was one word only: grinta. And who wanted it more? It was the Ukrainians who wanted more, and Shevchenko wasn't even on the field.
He wasn't even on the field, but we'll see what, because you know what, in the end, Ukraine passes, France has only got themselves to blame, and maybe the team chemistry, you know?
Yeah.
By the way, Steve, why don't we have tomato sauce and pasta on the table?
Well, because we like to decorate the set, and we do decorate the set on the terms of the time of the day that we are. This time of the day is lunchtime, which is very important to me. And Vince will be staying over so that he can help me make the sauce.
Ah, very nice. We'd like just to give a little thank you to everybody out there on Twitter, following us, sharing our things. Would be Serie A Live Radio, Serie A Live, Ita Footy Daily, all our fans across Europe. That some of them, we got some new fans there in Sweden, a lot of views, guys. We'd like to thank you very much. Give us a couple of nobody's here giving a chance and just speaking our minds, trying to reach out to the average Joe and talk passionately about soccer, not try to be those guys on TV with shirts and ties and just talk about formation and tactics.
Continue to follow us at Red Card Weekly on Twitter and on YouTube, www.youtube.com/Red Card Weekly.
Oh, very nice, very nice. Before we get into our red cards of the week, I think we're going to have our own red cards, but I want to nominate a red card of the week for both of us. And I think you're going to agree.
Okay, well, this is a surprise.
When I saw this news, I had to shut down the computer, open up again just in case, Kevin Constant nomination for the Ballon d'Or, African Ballon d'Or. Let me repeat this. Kevin Constant is nominated to win the Ballon d'Or, African Ballon d'Or. I don't have to explain why this is our collective red card. I think you're agreeing. I'm surprising you with this one. Are you agreeing?
I don't know. I really don't know why the African why the African Federation needs to give their own Ballon d'Or.
But Kevin Constant, really? Anyways, my red card of the week, I'm going to go with Mr. Eric Thohir. That all of a sudden, it's his first day, you don't speak the language, and what do you got to say to the press? Chi non salta rosso nero, eh? Eric, if you were trying to get to us Milanese, the only thing you made was made us laugh. I know what you were trying to do, but you know what? Learn to speak the language a bit more because it's like chi non salta nera azzurro, eh. That's the way you're supposed to say, not like chi non salta ne rosso neri, hey? And then they made some jokes on the internet. They made like a little rap with him and everything. So Eric Thohir, my red card of the week.
And we're gonna give Steve's gonna give his red card of the week to, yes, on an international break, we're gonna give it to Don Max Allegri.
How do you come up with Allegri on a?
I'm gonna explain to you how I'm gonna. Don Max Allegri is going to try, and I put in quotations.
I'm gonna go start making the sauce.
Go ahead. He's going to try and recreate a Ballon d'Or winner. He is going to take Kaká and try to put him right in front of the defense as a playmaker. Allegri, you gave away Pirlo because you said he wasn't important. He was a playmaker. You gave away Ronaldinho. Didn't think he would be able to play. He is a playmaker. Now Kaká finally plays well, and you're going to try to remake him into something else that he might not be. Oh my God, Allegri, good luck. Everybody, take it easy. We'll see you next week.